As we jump into today's hobby vlog, I'm going to place two links down there in the info box and in the comments to Cord the Unbroken and the Duke of Death. Now, we're doing this miniature wargaming thing, in this case, Warhammer 40,000, Battletech, but this applies to all of the systems that I enjoy, all of the systems that I play. We want to get the most out of our miniatures. We're spending all this time building, painting, collecting, playing. We want to build that narrative. We want to build that story. When I pull miniatures out of my gaming cases, there's a history attached to them. Not only the physical times of having fun with my friends, going to events, talking tactics, rolling dice, but the narrative, the story itself. And this, in my opinion, ties into the perspective that while I enjoy hex-based war games like Ogre, one of the reasons why I play with miniatures, we play with miniatures, and we push these toys around is the fact that we're trying to create something outside of space and time. We're trying to create a simulation on the table, and as commanders, as mech warriors, as space marines, whatever it's going to be, step into that narrative and see ourselves in the game, see ourselves physically in that game. So I always try to play the narrative. What do I mean by that? Now, there's a lot of great ways to approach wargaming. Two really big examples, and kind of polarizing as an example, would first be competitive play. I'm playing a tournament. I'm there to win. I really don't care about the composition of my army or if it makes sense in the narrative. In the Warhammer 40K narrative, a chapter has maybe, let's go with Dark Angel's first company, maybe 100 suits of Terminator armor. I'm playing 30 suits on the table. There's like a couple of thousand in the entire Imperium, and this commander has got 30 on the table. I don't care about the narrative. I'm just going to win at all costs. That's one way to approach the hobby. The opposite end of the hobby is where you're playing a narrative. You're playing a scenario. An example of that would be many, many years ago at the Battle for Salvation Gaming Club. We recreated, as a group, we recreated the Siege of Terra, going to try and break down the Eternity Gate. And we had representation of all the legions on the table. And it was a massive, massive game. We only got like 3 or 4 turns in playing the whole day. But wow, what an amazing sight. What an amazing sight on the table. I was playing Death Guard for that game. I've been a long-time Death Guard player, on a side note. But in approaching that, I think many of us tend to play in the middle. We approach games in the middle, meaning we want to win. When I play with my friends, I'm going to do my best to bring the Tactica to the table. Maybe I'm going to do that with a really powerful list. Maybe it's going to be more of a fun type list. But I'm trying to play and bring the best game that I can. But at the same time, I'm trying to build memories. At the same time, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to build a history with my models. So this leads into Cord the Unbroken and the Duke of Death, and what I would recommend to maybe try out in your next game. This idea of a game within a game. So regardless of whether I win or lose, and I'm going to try and win, I'm building a history. So this idea of a mini game. All right, Battletech. I've got my Lance. I've got the mission. I've got my mechs. When I take the Duke of Death, this is a mech warrior who pilots an urban mech. His story is he's going for the glory. He has refitted his urban mech. You can see this coming if you've been following my vlogs and over on my blog. He mounts the variant with the autocannon 20. Regardless of the mission that's going on, the Duke of Death waits. And whoever is the biggest target with the most glory, that Atlas is making its way down the city block, the Duke is going to come out and try to engage one-on-one and try to defeat that. I always have a side story going on. I picture myself as that mech warrior, and almost from a role-playing perspective, independent of the mission, although I try to contribute to the mission, I play it out to see what happens. Likewise, Cord the Unbroken, he is a world eater set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. He's part of my Chaos Space Marine warband. He is also, when we play kind of kill team, Inquisimunda, bigger narrative type events where it's multiple people bringing multiple war bands, he gets involved and I play from that perspective. He's there trying to contribute the mission and earn glory for the Dark Gods, but he also has a side story that I've created where he's trying to find the Blind King who betrayed him on Drex, left him to die there. And it wasn't even for cornate glory. The Blind King working for Tzeentch, that requires martial honor to be separated. So when I'm playing Cord and his warband on the table, I'm trying to win the mission. I'm trying to contribute to the team if we're playing a big game, but I'm also creating that narrative in my mind. Who on this table would know where the Blind King might be? A perfect example, if someone's got Dark Angels on there, if they've got a chaplain or they're playing First Company, they know about the Unforgiven. They know about all this stuff. I'm going to try and make my way in the battle to engage in personal combat one-on-one to try and find out that information. If there's an Inquisitor or representation on the table, even if they're all the way on the other side of the table, I'm going to try and make it over there and put them to the plasma pistol and the chainsword. So this idea of win or lose, looking at your models, a unit, a piece, a special character, and playing a role-playing game as it plays out in every single battle. And the neat part about this is, again, independent of winning and losing, I have for certain key pieces of units and models that have captured my attention. And I love all my models, of course. This is an ever-evolving story. This is an ever-evolving story that has literally grown over the years. And I don't really know where that story's going to take itself or how it's going to play out because it's different in every single game. One last example. And the problem here, the challenge here is so many amazing armies to play, so many amazing systems to play, and it's just really annoying that things like work and school and other responsibilities get in the way, that I can't just play games full time. But with my Black Templars, my Emperor's Champion, his goal in every single game is to administer the justice of the Emperor, to put a key model, an HQ, a leader, a heretic, a rogue psyker to the Black Sword. And I actually have, it's not quite life size, it's about half scale, Black Templar banner. And every time I play my Templars, if I have the banner with me, or usually it's in the Fritz cave, I have recorded on there 82 kills. Now this is over the course of like a decade plus. 82 kills of 40K models, characters, units, special characters that he has put to the Black Sword. I have a running tally with the date of who they are. Is that getting a little bit crazy? Look, we're talking about wargaming here, and a lot of us have interesting scenarios and practices that we've kept over the years. But when I look at that banner, I can see every single piece of glory that I have earned, that we have earned, in the name of the Emperor. So I want to encourage you. Look at that system, look at that piece, and figure out how, yes, you can play tactically, but also how you can bring that hobby to your games and have that side story. Advance it every single game. See how it evolves over the months and literally over the years.